What's good? What's good? This is Redbird. Yeah, coming at y'all with another video today. Hope y'all had a good Saturday. Salute to the originees, you know what I'm saying? Original Americans, shout out to y'all, big up to y'all. Yeah, shout out to all my subscribers, much love to y'all. And I want to give a big shout out to my sis, Unity Love. Big shout out to Lil Cupcake. And big shout out to Mr. Smooth E. You know what I'm saying? Other Origines, y'all check her channel. It's called Unity Aborigine Love. You know what I'm saying? Check Unity Love out. And yeah, I'm going to come to y'all today with this bird video. This is a bird series I'm doing. How many chapters I'm going to have, I ain't really sure about it. But y'all just, stick with me, rock with me, I'm going to just be dropping these, periodically, And this book with the bird information that I'm reading from is from a group called the National Audubon Society. And this book is from them, is a pocket guide. And the title of the book is Familiar Birds of North America East. Yeah, I'm just about to get into it. Okay, it says the birds. This first bird I'm going to be reading about is the herring gull. The abundant and familiar herring gull is at home in almost any setting. From the wilds of ocean coasts to sluggish stream sides and crowded cities, these energetic scavengers are often seen whirling and turning in the air off the sterns of fishing boats and ferries, or wheeling hopefully above garbage dumps looking for a meal. The identification: they're 23 to 26 inches and large, with white head and neck, gray wings and mantle, and extensive black wing tips with white spots. Bill large and yellow with red dot near tip on mandible or the lower half. Winter birds have dusky streaking on head and neck. Juveniles and immatures, first and second year birds, grayish brown below and scaly gray above. And their voices are loud, trumping ki-yow, 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 ki-yow. Their habitat is the ocean shores, bays, rivers, lakes, ponds, and wharves. Is WHARVES. And they're also seen in plowed fields, cities, and landfill sites. So these are the gulls that we usually see, in the cities that we live in. Because, when I was in my old neighborhood, I seen them. And I can go downtown or whatever, different areas, and I'll see them. Especially if, there's like random food thrown anywhere, like bread or just, raw chicken meat or whatever. These some of the birds that we seen growing up, that would swoop down and get that food. And they range from Alaska to Newfoundland, south to British Columbia, Montana, Great Lakes region, and New England, and all along Atlantic coast to Florida and Gulf. Mississippi River, absent from mountains and much of Great Plains. Okay, this is another gull bird, but this is the laughing gull bird. The laughing gull is the common summer seagull. Along much of the southern Atlantic coast and Gulf shores. Like its larger relative, the herring gull, this species is a practiced beggar with an eye for seaside picnics. In recent years, the laughing gull's numbers have declined, perhaps as a result of the recreational development of salt marsh areas and other suitable nesting sites. The identification of this bird is 16 to 17 inches, medium-sized gold with dark gray mantle and black hood in summer, hind edge of wing white, and wing tips solid black, legs and bill dark red, bright red in some birds. Winter adults black hood, juveniles dark brown with white rump. Their voices are loud, high, ha 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 ha. So it's basically like a human laugh, what you would call him, So I just say that just to say because I've been doing etymology too, and certain words don't mean what we think they mean. It's just a little side note, but this, what I say, what man would do, man, and I say man pertaining to woman and man, that's their voice is similar to the ha ha, what we would do, That's interesting too. And the habitat of the laughing gull is coastal areas, especially estuaries, bays, and salt marshes, rare inland. They breeds along coasts from Maine to Florida and Gulf of Mexico, winters from Virginia south, occasionally farther north. Okay, this next bird is common tern, T-E-R-N, common tern. These common birds are adroit in flight and skillful divers, plummeting from a height of many feet to snatch shrimp and small fish from the water. That reminds me of what eagles and hawks do. Terns nest in large, noisy colonies on protected beaches, and they heatedly defend their territories from all comers, including people. Wow. Common terns are very sensitive to disturbance, and human disruption of nesting colonies has caused a large decline in their numbers. The identification of these birds is 13 to 16 inches, adult and breeding plumage white with black cap and pale gray mantle, often washed with pale gray below. Tail deeply forked with black outer edges, bill red with black tip, legs red. Winter adults lack most of black cap, juveniles malted, quickly becoming gray backed. Their voices are loud, kee-yar, and a harsh scattertone of kip, kip, kip. Habitat is coastal areas, lakes, ponds, and rivers. It ranges and breeds from Alberta east through Great Lakes to Labrador and New England, south along Atlantic coast to Virginia. Winters mainly from Florida to South America, rare in winter in southernmost states. Okay, this next bird is called the Killdeer. That's my first time ever heard of this bird, actually. The adaptable, noisy, and conspicuous killdeer seems to love to call attention to itself. In nesting areas, when challenged by the presence of a predator, this bird performs its famous distraction display. Feigning injury, it drags itself unsteadily across the ground, dragging a broken wing behind it. This behavior leads the predator away from nesting or eggs. Once the intruder is at a safe distance from the nest, the malingerer is M-A-L-I-N-G-E-R-E-R. The malingerer takes flight, uttering its shrill cry. So I assume this M word is another name to or word to describe the killdeer bird. And the identification of the killdeer bird is 9 to 11 inches, robin size. Oh man. Grayish brown above, white below, with two distinct black breast bands. Rufous rump and tail conspicuous in flight. Bill thin, black. Their voices are shrill, ringing, killdeer, killdeer, repeated incessantly. Also a shorter DDD. Yeah, it's actually like DEE, Yeah, like that, DDD. And the habitat is fields, pastures, mud flats, beaches, and other open areas near water. The range breeds from central Alaska to Newfoundland, south to Mexico, winters inland in mild areas. Populations from New Jersey and Ohio southward, non-migratory. Yeah, it's an interesting bird there. This next bird is called the common snipe. See, I never heard of this bird either until now. This shy and secretive marsh denizen has achieved a certain fame for its whining courtship display. For its winnowing courtship display. On breeding grounds, the bird performs a spectacular dive, its outer tail feathers producing an eerie, hollow, dull whistling sound. When flushed, the common snipe takes off in an abrupt, fast zigzag flight. These birds migrate in flocks at night, but by day the common snipe is usually a loner. The identification of the common snipe bird is 10.5 to 11.5 inches, long-billed, slender brownish shorebird, multi-upper parts and head have prominent buffy stripes, belly white, breast and flanks with heavy bars and spots. In flight, has long pointed dark wings. The voice is a sharp, grating scape when flushed a high wheat on breeding grounds. The habitat is marshes, ponds, wet fields, and peat bogs, rarely in salt marshes. It ranges and breeds from Alaska to Labrador to south to California, south to California, Indiana, and Massachusetts. Sometimes farther south. Winters from southern part of breeding range south. Yeah, this common snipe, from this picture I'm seeing, it actually looks similar to a geese almost, a geese bird. But yeah, this is another bird I'm just now hearing of too. Actually, is a spotted sandpiper. This well-known American shorebird is found nearly throughout the continent. When feeding, it constantly bobs its tail up and down, earning it the nickname teeter-tail. This conspicuous habit and its distinctive style of flight, in which brief glides alternate with rapid bursts of shallow wing beats, make this sand sniper easy to recognize. The identification of the sand sniper bird is 7 to 8 inches robin size. Trim gray-brown or olive brown above. Breeding adults have heavy black spotting below. White wing stripe conspicuous in flight. Winter birds and juveniles white with brown smudge on neck and breast. The voice is a clear peat wheat or wheat also gives a soft trill. The habitat is anywhere near water, from beaches to open prairie potholes and wooded areas with ponds. It ranges and breeds from North Alaska east to Cape Breton Island, south to California, North Texas, Kentucky, and Virginia. Winters from South United States to South America. Okay, this next bird is called the Sanderling. It's my first time hearing of this bird too. It's see what you can see from the bird species is like yeah, I can say maybe I'll say like dogs in a sense. not that they're the same kind of species, of course, but I mean, like, it's like when you see dogs, you know, it's so many different breeds of dogs, you know, and this is like the same thing with birds. And the more I'm studying about birds and learning about birds, even with me doing this video, you know, I'm learning more and more about birds. I'm seeing that it's a wide range of birds as far as the species. It's so many, you know, different types of birds, you know. Now, I've seen a lot of birds that are songbirds, you know, but, you know, just seeing this, just studying birds in general, I'm seeing there's a wide range of different species of birds, you know. And the Sanderling, it says these plump little sandpipers are gregarious. They often form pure flocks of several dozen birds, but they usually feed along the shore in hurried clusters of 3 to 6. Sanderlings are delightful to watch as they chase up and down a beach on stiff legs to probe for tiny mollusks. And excuse me for this word. This word is Crustaceans, washed up by ocean waves. These birds are more tame and approachable than most sandpipers. Identification is 7 to 8.5 inches small sandpiper. Breeding adults have rufous head, back, wings, and upper breast, with blackish mottling belly white. Winter plumage pale gray above, white below. Bill and legs black. Bold white wing stripe conspicuous in flight. The voice flight call a sharp high pitch kip or kit. The habitat is primarily along sandy beaches, also on tidal flats, lake shores, and sandbars. It ranges from breeds in far north in tundra of Canada and Greenland, along Arctic Ocean and northern Hudson Bay, winters along both coasts and south to South America. Okay, this next bird is the American Coot. And I never heard this bird before either, to be honest with you. Okay, this aquatic species appears ungainly as it takes off from the water, pattering across the surface on its odd-looking low feet to gain enough momentum for flight. A skillful diver and swimmer, the American Coot, and Coot is C-O-O-T, feeds on aquatic vegetation, but can be induced to come out of the water for a handout of grain or scraps of bread. Identification is 13 to 16 inches, adult slate gray with black head and neck, setting off pale ivory colored bill and frontal shield. And the shield has a red spot conspicuous at close range. Immature similar to adult but paler with dull bill. Their voices a variety of cackles, clucks, and low croaking notes. The habitat is open, freshwater marshes, ponds, and lakes, also in saltwater in winter when freshwater habitats are frozen. Ranges from breeds from British Columbia and North Alberta to South Ontario and New England, south to Mexico and Florida. Winters from Illinois to Massachusetts to Florida and Gulf Coast, also along with Pacific Coast and in the Southwest. Okay, this next bird is called the Pike-billed Grebe, and Grebe is Grebe. It's interesting too because this is another bird I'm just learning about too, but says this species is the most common member of its family in North America. When alarmed, the pike-billed grebe quietly makes itself inconspicuous. It sinks slowly beneath the water's surface without setting off a ripple. Wow. It remains mostly submerged, with just its head and neck above water. Like a loon, it can also swim far distances underwater. The young spend their first few weeks riding around on the backs of their parents, which even dive with chicks abroad. Grebes are designed for swimming awkward on land. They rarely come ashore. Identification of the pike-billed grebe is 12 to 15 inches, stocky, compact, brownish, with conspicuously short, chicken-like bill. Breeding birds have black band around throat and black ring around bill. Juveniles stripe with recognizable grebe bill. Okay, the voice is a low, hollow series of cow-oo notes. Habitat: lakes, ponds, and marshes. It ranges breeds throughout most of North America, south of central Canada, winters from British Columbia and New England south. Okay, here we go. The next bird is called the common loon. Experts believe that the loons are representatives of a very primitive group of water birds. The earliest loon fossils date from 65 million years ago. Wow. And present-day loons have no close relative among modern birds. With their heavy, solid bones, loons dive easily and can stay underwater for 2 to 3 minutes, although most dives are much shorter. On still nights, lake shores of the North ring with this loon's hair-raising laughing call. Identification of the common loon is 28 to 35 inches, large duck-like. Breeding birds have black and white checkerboard pattern above with velvety black head, white necklace, white underparts, and straight black dagger-like bill. Winter birds and immatures blackish above, whitish below with paler bill. The voice of a common loon is a loud yodeling call given on breeding grounds, wild laughing call given at night. The habitat in north country lakes and rivers, also in protected bays and estuaries, and out to sea during migration. The range breeds from Alaska to British Columbia and east to New England, winters south along both coasts. Okay, it's another bird. This bird is called the common goldeneye. The common goldeneye can even be identified at night, for its wings produce a loud, distinctive whistling sound that has given rise to this duck's nickname, the Whistler. This species is famous for its spring courtship display. The drake stretches his head forward and then throws it back, uttering a loud, rasping noise as the female obligingly looks on. The identification of the common goldeneye is 16 to 20 inches, large and stocky. Breeding drake white with black back, dark glossy, greenish black head, and large round white spot in front of eye. Females, juveniles, and non-breeding drakes, grayish with brown head and white underparts. Both sexes have black wings with white wing patch conspicuous in flight and distinctive puffy-looking head shape. Their voices, the male gives a nasal, rasping sound in courtship, otherwise silent. The habitat is coastal bays and large lakes, also rivers and ponds. The ranges breeds from Alaska to Labrador, south to northern tier of states, winters south to Florida and Mexico.